And welcome. I was muted. Thank you, Dale, for letting me know that. I'm often mute in the beginning when I'm first starting out, and I was actually talking to Raymond. So Raymond, I was muted, and because you came on actually as a panelist, sort of as a guest panelist. But anyway, here we are. So it is February 3rd, 2024. I just said that Puxatawny Phil has not yet did not see his shadow yesterday morning. So that dear groundhog, and that means we're supposed to have an early spring. So anyway, I hope that's something that pleases you. Anyway, this is Wondrous Roots. It's Saturday afternoon at noon. It is Saturday noon, and Wondrous Roots, your health from the ground up. So my name is Rebecca Becky Montrone. I'm a holistic healthcare practitioner with a degree in holistic nutrition. I'm also a full-fledged herbalist with my own granted credentials. I've been practicing herbalism for many years and have a huge formulary with probably some 250 single herb extracts, and then over 150 different formulas. And just the fun of mixing and matching, right? You make these formulas, and then these herbs, you make the extracts, and then you think of things and you say, I'm going to make a formula for cough, or I'm going to make a formula for constipation, or I'm going to make a formula for this. And what are the herbs that are involved in that? And then you make them. So this all started, and Dale was with us, my husband right now. He could attest. It all looked a little dubious back in the early days when I just had mason jars all over the kitchen counter, and then stocked up in shelves in the basement. Like, what the heck are we ever going to do with all of this? And this is what we did. So this is where we are. And we're on, speaking of where we are in Keene, New Hampshire. We are located at the Miller Forge building, which is a beautiful old mill building on Roxbury Street, which is one of the main corridors right there, one of the main cross sections of Central Square here in beautiful downtown Keene. We are open here. We have an open shop. So I see clients as a practitioner in consultation. I have lovely staff, and we have our doors open for people to pop in. People come up all the time like they're coming to a shop. And we are open 9:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. We are also, you can also reach out to me by phone, 603-439-2603. You can also contact me from my websites, either wondrousroots.org or shopwondrousroots.com. Both are separate websites. One is our e-commerce site, and the other is the Wondrous Roots website, where you can find other information. But sometimes people say, oh, I was looking for your information on glutathione or something like that. I was looking for your information on beta-glucan. Well, there's no way I can put all my informational files on my website. If you saw my files on my computer, they're astoundingly huge. So if you do have interest in a certain topic or something and you want information, just go to contact us and type to me, because I'm the only one who sees those messages. They come straight to my email, and I will get back to you. So again, 9:30 to 5, phone number 603-439-2603, websites shopwondrousroots.com, wondrousroots.org, and I think I've said just about everything I'm supposed to as we open. Okay, if you are on the Zoom with me right now, I'm glad you are. If you're here and you want to speak, you can just go to the chat and type it in down at the bottom, right? Maybe you've not done this before. You can raise your hand if you want to talk. And if you want to do that, then I click on you and you talk, just like this was my talk radio program when I had radio, right? But without the producer and without having to call and all of that. You can just raise your hand. And then if you want to also, another way is the Q&A. So you can type either into the Q&A or into the chat. Okay. Now, I am going to, whoops, I'm on the wrong computer here. I've got two computers open. Okay. And all right. So last week I talked about oil pulling, and we were really getting into the whole idea of oral health and what the health of our mouth is like, how it impacts health all throughout our bodies, how it affects our brain, how it affects our cardiovascular health is a real huge one, how it can be so involved in metabolic syndrome, things like diabetes. So keeping the teeth healthy, keeping the mouth healthy is super important. It's very foundational to health. What happens as people get older is the senses become weaker. If we don't take care of them, they just will become weaker. And that is not just because we're getting older, but because we may have been for many more years, like not taking care of ourselves, right? So taking care of ourselves, and I'm not saying whenever you have a health problem, it's because you didn't take care of yourself. That's like that's so insulting and so patronizing. And I don't mean that. But I'm saying there are things we can do, right, to keep our teeth, to keep our hearing, to keep our vision, to keep the other sense, such as the sense of smell. So these things are really important. And if we pay attention, especially at the younger age, as early as we start, is so much better, right? So I'm going to do these things to take care of my eyes. I'm going to do these things to take care of my teeth and my gums and my mouth. I'm going to take care of these things, do these things to take care of my ears. A lot of people today, for instance, with hearing issues or tinnitus, that goes back to really abusing their ears, maybe not for pleasure. It could have been through loud music and headphones, but it could also have been through, like my father-in-law, my late father-in-law was a shop teacher. And they didn't have ear protection in those days. Or maybe you worked in, a motor shop or something where you had loud motor sounds, mechanical sounds all the time. And you were young and you didn't really think that much of it. But now that you've put on a few years, things are happening to the ears that could have been prevented. So, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We've all heard that a million times. And I just had to say it the 1,000,001th time. But it's super important. And we're going to talk about the eyes today. We do a lot of, I make a product, and I'm just going to jump in and say that. Okay, so again, if you are on the Zoom, and if you get my newsletters in your email, you will be able to follow along, or you might not want to do that while I'm on the call, on the Zoom right now, but you can go back. This particular one is really chock full of lots of information. So it's something that you're going to probably want to do. I'm going to pull it up on my other computer here, and then I'm also going to, at times, I probably will share my screen with you. But let me just go here and grab that one. Today I say the eyes have it. The eyes do have it. They have my attention today. And then if you are listening or listening to this on YouTube or Rumble later on when the video is up, then you will be able to look down right in the beginning of the description. I have there the link to the newsletter that goes with this. So you don't have to say, oh, I don't have that material. You can easily get that. And then in that newsletter, if you want to sign up to receive future newsletters, you can sign up. Okay. So I say here, as we age, the senses can dull, and keeping them from doing that is key to slowing down the aging process and living healthily while we are here on the earth. Living healthily results in greater enjoyment of life, greater vitality to bring to all of our endeavors, greater capacity to be of service to others, greater use of the faculties that help transmit the wisdom we have gained into the world around us, and to continue learning every single day. We have to understand that we have to cherish getting older. If we've been living with intention, if we've been living in a way that we're learning and we are gaining experience in whatever our field might be or wherever we are plugged into life, because we have more to offer. So when we're at a stage in life when we have more to offer, we don't want our bodies just to like poop out on us. We don't want to not to be able to talk. We don't want to not to be able to hear, not to be able to see. People, please, always remarkably overcome challenges such as that. Let's just think of Helen Keller. Excuse me. But we don't want to, unless something happens to us that we have no control over, we want to hold on to everything and have all of our tools at our disposal at the sharpest they can possibly be, right? As we continue on in life. So anyway, the eyes have it. So I found this really cool website, and I think I will share my screen for this one, but first I have to actually pull up the newsletter. So bear with me for a moment as I do that. Because, kind of understanding the eyeball and the brain and how the eyes work really is important and helpful as we understand the diseases or the conditions such as cataracts or glaucoma or macular degeneration, right, that we can fall prey to and that can affect our eyes negatively. So again, I'm going to pull this up and then share my screen. TikTok goes the clock. All right. So share my screen. All right. Share. I think y'all can probably see that pretty well. Oh, now you can. If you can't, let me see. And yeah, I got to put my chat up so I can see if you're there. And if I can see if you're saying something to me. And I'll do this as well. Okay. All right, great. So here, the eyes have it. So I want to take you to this page. The eye anatomy, parts of the eye and how we see. Learn more. So you have here, okay, the extraocular muscles. So those are those, right? And they hold the eye in place. The sclera is all that the white stuff. The conjunctiva are under the eyelids and like there, that pink rim up in here are the conjunctiva. The lacrimal gland here is where the tears come from. So you've got in the cornea, there are 3 different layers, and that's like the film over the iris and all of that, right? That's that film, that's the cornea. So there's a mucus layer, the watery layer, and the oil layer. So the tears lubricate the eyes are made up of 3 layers. These layers are called the tear film. The mucus layer is made by the conjunctiva. The watery part of the tears is made by the lacrimal gland. The eye's lacrimal gland sits out on the outer side of the eyebrow, so right up here, away from the nose in the orbit. The meibomian gland makes the oil that becomes another part of the tear film. Tears drain from the eye through the tear duct, and I'll get back to that meibomian gland a bit later, just as a little, never mind, I will, or unless I forget. Okay, so here you have the cornea, the lens. This is the lens. The lens is where the light comes in, right? And back here, you have the retina. The retina is what receives the light. So the light comes in and the retina, okay, anyway, maybe I should back up. Cornea, the light is focused through the eye, clear domed shunt front portion of the eye is focused into the eye through the cornea. Then behind the cornea is the fluid called the aqueous humor in the anterior chamber. So the eye is always producing aqueous humor. And to maintain a constant eye pressure, aqueous humor also drains from the eye in an area called the drainage angle. So think, put in your minds, if you have glaucoma, you've heard those terms, right? Because you got too much eye pressure. That's what that's all about. Behind the anterior chamber is the eye's iris, the colored part of the eye with the dark hole in the middle called the pupil. Muscles in the iris dilate, widen or constrict, narrow the pupil to control the amount of light reaching to the back of the eye. It is really remarkable how our Creator made us. It's this is I just have to say, this is why in Psalm 2 it says, "He who sits in the heavens shall laugh; he will hold them in derision." It also is why in Romans chapter 1 it says people are without excuse if they don't acknowledge God, because it's so obvious if you just look at creation, if you look at the wonder of it, that this didn't come out of some evolving blob of something, or a bang happened and everything just fell miraculously into place, is remarkable. Just looking at how the eye works is cause for praise. You just can't even believe that this could be thought up. It's just the eye, and it's so remarkable. Just the eye. Anyway, I digress. Now, directly behind the pupil sits the lens. The lens focuses light toward the back of the eye. The lens changes shape to help the eye focus on objects up close. Small fibers called zonules are attached to the capsule holding the lens, suspending it from the eye wall. The lens is surrounded by the lens capsule, which is left in place when the lens is removed during cataract surgery, which many of you might have had, or you know somebody who did. That's like such a common eye problem. And probably most people, if they live long enough, will develop cataracts if they don't do things to prevent them. But that's just, anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit further on. The lens is surrounded by the lens capsule, which is left in place when the lens is removed during cataract surgery. Some types of replacement intraocular lenses go inside the capsule where the natural lens was. By helping to focus light as it enters the eye, the cornea and the lens both play important roles in giving us clear vision. In fact, 70% of the eye's focusing power comes from the cornea and 30% from the lens. The back of the eye. The vitreous cavity lies between the lens and the back of the eye. A jelly-like substance called vitreous humor fills the cavity. I don't know about you, but when I'm talking about things like eyes like that, it might feel like my eyes, like, ooh, I had no idea if that's going on in there. And now I'm so conscious of my eyeball. I don't know, you know what I mean? Anyway, light that is focused into the eye by the cornea lens passes through the vitreous onto the retina. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The light-sensitive tissue lining the back of the eye, lines the back of the eye. A tiny but very specialized area of the retina called the macula, now that's a term that you probably are, macular degeneration, right? Is responsible for giving us our detailed central vision. All those details, crisp details. The other part of the retina, the peripheral retina, provides us with our peripheral side vision. So if we go back up here, right? That's the peripheral, that's the side vision here. And this is the central vision part of the retina. This is what makes this so much better than radio for this purpose, right? Because you can actually demonstrate what you're talking about. I love that. Okay. Okay. Now, the retina has special cells called photoreceptors. These cells change light into energy that is then transmitted to the brain. There are two types. So it's really your brain that sees, right? Your eye is like the conduit, but it's your brain that interprets your vision. Wow. Okay, there are two types of photoreceptors, rods and cones. Rods perceive black and white and enable night vision. Cones perceive color and provide central detailed vision. The retina sends these light as electrical impulses through the optic nerve to the brain. The optic nerve is made up of millions of nerve fibers that transmit these impulses to the visual cortex, the part of the brain responsible for our sight. Wow. Vision just involves so much, doesn't it? It's remarkable. Anyway, so I wanted to share that. Stop my share for now. And okay, so now that we kind of see how our eyes work, it's just really cool. So let's talk about, because we've got about 40 minutes left here. No, 40. Yeah, I can count. I can look at the clock and tell you. Yeah, about 40 minutes left. And we're going to breeze through our top eye conditions that people have today and kind of talk about them, kind of talk about what they're like, why we have them, why people have them, and what we can do about them. Now, to get this information, I used primarily for these things two websites that I've talked about many times before in my programs that I really cherish. One is Dr. Josh Axe. His website, he's got a lot of great information on all kinds of topics, and I love the way he does them. He explains what the problem is. He explains how it's viewed in medical science, how in the medical world, and then what we can do, what foods we can eat, supplements we might take in order to help. And so when I first was looking at age-related macular degeneration, for example, I went to a page from the CDC, because I'm like, this is going to be great information about what it actually is, right? So that's what I wanted. But then I look at it. And when I look at websites like that, they then give you the token, there's no cure. You can't, these are the treatments. You can get these shots. You can do this. You can do that. You will never find any hint that there's anything you can do nutrition-wise or any other way to improve that condition. You will only read in those websites. And I would say that probably stands, and I didn't look, so, forgive me, Cleveland Clinic and Healthline and, the other thing, the Mayo Clinic and things like that. You might have said some other things about other things that you can do. But if you go to your classic mainstream health websites, and those are usually the first hits that come up when you're Googling or searching in another search engine for something, you're going to get those. And they kind of, basically, if you're that poor person who just got diagnosed with something, you go to those sites and you're like, well, there's really nothing I can do. My doctor says I need to go get these shots. I need to do this, and that's all I have. And so I didn't put those in my newsletter. I used these. And then I used Green Med Info, and I talked about that last week, greenmedinfo.com. Sign up for that, subscribe to it. It is a wonderful, wonderful resource. I will say, when you're clicking on their links, their pages take a long time to load, so don't give up. I'm always impatient with stuff like that. I'm like, click it, I want it right in my face. And I just think it's because they have so much information there, and maybe could use some better IT help or something, but it is remarkable. And so I think I will share my screen again to go into the next segment of info here. Okay, if I go back here. Okay, here it's estimated that 10 million to 11 million Americans have age-related macular degeneration. We talked there, let me just go back here. Where is the macula? Well, of course, it's not going to be there. Let me just go back to this one. Where do they talk about the macula? Okay. The sclera, the eyelids, the conjunctiva, lacrima median, tear film, blah, 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 aqueous humor, pupil lens. Okay, it's going to make a liar out of, oh, there. A tiny but very specialized area of the retina. So it's part of the retina is the macula. Okay. All right. It's estimated that 10 million to 11 million Americans have age-related macular degeneration, which causes vision changes sometimes so severe that irreversible legal blindness can occur. In fact, globally, macular degeneration is the leading causes of permanent vision loss in adults over 60. And another alarming finding, the number of people with macular degeneration symptoms living in the US is expected to double to nearly 22 million adults by the year 2050, mostly due to the growing population of people over 65. That means 96 million adults will have partially lost their, I could have left that part out. All right. So let's go to Dr. Axe's page here, which was written by a contributor here, Jillian Levy. Natural treatments for macular degeneration symptoms. Let's go back here. Older adults aren't the only ones who can experience vision changes due to macular degeneration. Smokers, those with a poor diet or nutrient deficiencies, and diabetics are also at risk. In addition to vision loss, macular degeneration symptoms can include spotty vision, seeing blank spots, colors changing, and difficulty reading, not to be confused with that farsightedness, that presbyteropia, presbyteropia, that is because of proteins getting stickier. That's what that is. And that's why indium improves fine vision acuity. I figured that out today. That's what indium is doing. It did that for me. Like I can actually, and I have a very strong reading prescription in these glasses, especially on this eye, and I can read up close. I could, like, without my glasses 2 weeks after starting indium. And that's what it does. It helps with these proteins that are, that as we get older, get thicker. Isn't that cool? All right, so let's see, I need to go back and do this and this. Okay. Okay, older adults aren't the only ones who can experience vision changes due to macular degeneration. Smokers, those with poor diet or nutrient deficiencies, and diabetics are also at risk. In addition to vision loss, macular degeneration symptoms can include spotty vision, seeing blank spots, color changes, and difficulty reading. I just read that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, vitamins and foods that can protect the eyes. In addition to adding eye-protecting foods to your diet, such as brightly colored vegetables, omega-3 fats, and berries, something I talk about all the time here, and to include in your diet, and we certainly do in our diet. Keeping up with other healthy habits like exercising, protecting your eyes from the sun, and quitting smoking can also help preserve your eyesight. Okay, so let's go into this. Macular degeneration is an eye disorder that affects cells in the part of the eye called the retina, thereby causing changes in vision. In those with macular degeneration, images that usually appear clear and sharp often become blurred at first, and then as the disease progresses, they can become distorted, enlarged, cloudy, dark, or spotty. Mel asked, what did I say helps with not needing reading glasses? Indium. INDIUM. And if you go to my website, we have a product called Indium Ease. I've talked about it several times on here, and I've got newsletters and programs about it. But it is really remarkably anti-aging in many ways. And you just use a drop or 2 or 3 on your tongue in the morning. That's all you need. And it's really remarkable. Oh, and I will tell you that what happened was I came into work one morning and got super busy right away, and never had a chance to take my glasses out and put them on. Now, normally in the past, if I had forgotten my glasses, I didn't have glasses here, I would need to go get them. And I just, it had been a couple of hours, and I said to Mary, who was working that day, I said, it's been a couple of hours and I haven't even bothered putting my glasses on. But I didn't think about it, and I forgot that in the stuff I learned about indium, that it says it can help with vision, especially, well, it's very good for glaucoma, but I don't have glaucoma, but also fine vision acuity. And so I didn't think about that. But now that was on a Wednesday. On that Friday, Kim, another client who usually pops in on Friday afternoons, said, "You're never going to believe it." She goes, 4 days after starting indium, I don't need my reading glasses any longer. And so that was kind of like the beginning of this revelation of people's eye vision getting better. If you're using indium, I would expect you would probably notice that. So if you do, even Dale would say to me, one time we were doing something, we're sitting with each other, but we're looking at something on the computer, and I didn't have my glasses on. He's like, "You don't have your glasses on." It's really, it's very, very cool. So anyway, that's the answer to that. So I'm going to back to my share screen. And okay. So the retina is the lining of nerves that helps respond to the detection of light. Nerves and cells that make up the retina help us interpret light from the environment by reflecting light wavelengths, and those are the rods and cones, and turning them into sharp, focused images. The specific area of the retina that's damaged due to macular degeneration is called the macula, located at the center of the retina and responsible for forming central vision, or the images you see when looking straight ahead. Now, I will say, because you wear glasses or something doesn't mean there's problems with those structures in your eyes. In fact, the last 2 times, and I only go like once every 6 years, I've had my eyes examined and they dilate your eyes. I was told both times that I have my eye health is remarkable, that I have the eyes, one person said, as of an 18-year-old. The other person said it was like textbook perfect, like the macula, the retina, all of those things that they can see. But I need glasses. I have progressive lenses, right? So don't get the two confused. Sometimes vision issues are because your eye structures are unhealthy, but not always. Your lens is changed, right? You have astigmatism and your lens shape is changed. You have myopia, right? So you're nearsighted, you can't see far away, or you have the press, where you can't see close up. And this has to do with that apparently has to do, when it comes with age, has to do with this protein. But other people are farsighted, and it also would have to do with the shape of the lens. So anyway, I just say that because some people just think, oh, my eyes are getting worse because they need reading glasses. They feel that their eye health is deteriorating. So just that little reminder, or maybe it's not a reminder. Maybe it's the first time you've heard it. Because people over 60 years old tend to have this eye disorder more often, macular degeneration is commonly referred to as age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. There are 2 primary types of macular degeneration, wet and dry. The dry form is much more common, accounting for about 90% of all cases. Dry macular degeneration proceeds to the wet type, which is more severe and leads to worsened vision loss. When the disease progresses, it can become known as neurovascular age-related macular degeneration, also called wet macular degeneration. Another type of advanced AMD is geographic atrophy, also sometimes called late dry macular degeneration, which is really interesting because a woman customer who comes up often called this past week saying that she had just been diagnosed with geographic atrophy. And did I have anything for that? And I spoke about the MSM eye drops, and I will get to those shortly because they are wonderful for all of these conditions. And with macular degeneration, even ophthalmologists confirming that year after year, people's examinations with macular degeneration improving with the use of these, cataracts reversing. So simple solution, but there's all kinds of information about that in my newsletter too, and we will get there. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, oh, gee, just, have these conditions and use MSM eye drops. I don't have these conditions and I use them because I want to protect my eyes, but I also do other things like eat a healthy diet and take other nutrients and things, as you all know, to protect my eyes. So, but to think, that there's something you can do that actually will reverse these conditions is something you're not going to read on the CDC website or Mayo Clinic or Cleveland Clinic or those types of places. And that's where a lot of people go for reliable information. When someone has dry macular degeneration, metabolic deposits or end products, and we're going to get into that because the age-related end glycation end products, otherwise known as AGEs, are what is behind diabetic retinopathy and diabetic neuropathy and wrinkling, not all cause of wrinkling, but a cause that antioxidants don't fix. So I'll get into that a little bit more. We use a supplement for those things called benfotiamine, which is a fat-soluble form of vitamin B1, thiamine. Okay. So I'm in directive macular degeneration. You want to learn more about that. Maybe you've just been diagnosed with macular degeneration, or somebody who has, and you want to learn more. I'm not going to read word for word, or we'll just be here until 3:00, and we can't be because you don't want to be. Okay. Macular degeneration symptoms, blurred central vision, meaning blurriness appears in the center of one's vision when looking straight ahead. Over time, that area that appears blurred can become larger, or some spots might even appear blank. Straight lines become curved or distorted. Some experience colors becoming darker or less bright and vivid. trouble with everyday activities like reading, making out faces, writing, typing, or driving. In some cases of advanced macular degeneration, vision can be completely lost over time and permanent blindness can occur. So we don't let it go, right? And we don't let it come on. That's the main thing. That's the thing to really be speaking about as in younger years is, take care of your body when you're young and it will serve you much better when you are older. So high carotenoid, and not just beta carotene, but high carotenoid foods, fresh fruit and vegetable juices, water, herbal tea, coconut water, high fiber foods. So this is basically, you look at these food recommendations, right? And they're basically the same recommendations made for your heart health or for diabetes or for brain health. The same kinds of things, and staying away from the same kinds of things. Too much caffeine and alcohol, added sugar and sweetened drinks, inflammatory foods. Basically, it makes sense. So, that's the good news, right? Because it's not like you have to eat one healthy diet for your eyes and one healthy diet for your mouth and one healthy diet for your ears and one healthy diet for your heart. And which diet do I choose? The healthy diet is basically the root, the wondrous root that then blossoms into these branches of all these different areas of health being addressed and strengthened and preventing disease conditions related to those areas of the body. Risks are being over age 60. The risk of getting age-related macular degeneration increases from 2% for those between the ages of 50, 59 to about 30% for those over the age of 75. So kind of like a gradual incremental. Cigarette smoking, suffering from nutritional deficiencies due to poor diet or absorption digestive problems. A highly in-processed diet contributes to accelerated aging and low antioxidant intake. And I would say the cigarette smoking, and I'm not advising anybody smoke, but it's not the nicotine that's causing the problem with your eyes. It is all of the pesticides and all of the crap and all of that stuff in the tobacco and that is in the cigarette you're smoking. So that's like, just, wafting in like you're walking, somebody just sprayed pesticides all over your yard and you're just like in there breathing deeply. That's the harm. That's a major harm from cigarette smoking. Not tobacco itself and not nicotine, but all of the crap. Okay. Suffering from nutritional deficiencies due to a poor diet or absorption, digestive problems. A highly processed diet contributes to accelerating aging and low antioxidant intake. Antioxidants are those vitamins and nutrients that we get from the real, live, colorful foods and a balanced diet. Cardiovascular diseases and diabetes include markers like high blood pressure and fluctuating blood sugar levels. Genetic factors are having a family history of vision loss. Markers of high levels of inflammation and oxidative damage, which causes changes in lipid. So that's the fats. Angiogenic, they're talking there about triglycerides and cholesterol and all of that kind of stuff. Lipid, angiogenic, things that could spur inflammation in the arteries and things like that, and the heart disease, and extracellular matrix pathways. UV damage from too much sunlight exposure. So guard your eyes. My glasses have blue light blockers because I'm always on electronics. I'm on electronics a lot. I would say a major part of my waking hours I am. And so my eyes never burn once I figured this out. Anti-glare, the blue light blocking so that you're just, really protecting your eyes that way. So like, even though like I really don't need my glasses to do this, I'm on my computer, so I wear my glasses for even just that reason. Okay, currently there is no cure for macular degeneration. So remember again, when you hear there's no cure, it means Big Pharma does not have a surgery or a procedure or a drug that will cure it. It doesn't mean that there is no cure in the wider world. It just means there's not a cure that they recognize. And legally, the AMA is the only legal entity recognized, ridiculous as it is, to be able to say that they can diagnose, treat, or cure a disease. So you just have to take that, consider the source. So 6 natural treatments, high antioxidant diet, See all of that. Supplements to protect the eyes, bilberry, azathanthan, essential oils, lutein. There's more, and you can see those things, other things in my newsletter. Quit smoking, blah, 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 blah. All right. So now let's just go here and cataracts. So a cataract is clouding of the eye's natural lens. Cataracts are the most common cause of vision loss in people over 40. They're also the main cause of blindness around the world. And then let's just go here. I'm not going to read and spend nearly as much time as I did on macular degeneration, but cataracts are even a lot more common than macular degeneration, right? Not just aging, poor lifestyle choices and other chronic health conditions can be contributing factors. The most common treatment for cataracts, blah, blah, blah. Cataracts is a clouding of the eye's natural lens. There's a really cool, there's a really cool diagram of that. Where did I see that diagram? I don't think it was here. Well, think of it this way, right? Okay, if we go back to the eye diagram. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, this is really cool. So what we have here is the lens. The normal lens is like this, and it focuses the light back to the retina and then the optic nerve that sends it to your brain. Here you've got the light is all diffuse, right? It's all cloudy. It's almost like you're trying to look through your windshield and the wipers aren't working. You got fog on there, say you've got fog on your windshield and it's not working because the lens is occluded there. Okay. Oh, I'm going to show you this just while I'm sharing my screen. This is one of the ones I tell you have to wait a few minutes, not a few minutes, but more seconds than I like to. Come on. Uh-oh. Oh, that one's not responding at all. Oh, yes, it is. It's just going really, really slow. I can see it over to the side. Well, probably shouldn't take the time to do this now, but these links do work. I tested them all before I sent the letter out, but you can see, okay, see how long that took? But here you've got all of these abstracts. These are abstracts on, scientific abstracts on these different topics. So you go to Green Med Info, you type in your health topic, you wait, and then something pops up like this. I'm going to click on this one to see. And then here you get this, right? This was published in Ophthalmologica and in 2005. And this was a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled clinical trial was to determine the efficacy of a combination of acetyl L-carnitine, fatty acids, and coenzyme Q10 on visual functions and fundus alterations in age-related macular degeneration. See that? So anyway, yeah, you can get all kinds of great info there. And I'm going to go back out of there, but I did that for three things. I did that for the macular degeneration. I did that for cataract. I did that for diabetic retinopathy. So cataracts, there's that fuzziness of the lens. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that one because we're at about 17 minutes here to go. Because I want to get into some really cool things you can do to help with these things. And diabetic retinopathy is a disease that affects people with any form of diabetes, type 1, type 2, or gestational diabetes. The condition is caused when blood sugar and blood pressure in the tiny blood vessels in the eye spring a leak and release blood into the eye. This leads to blurry vision, seeing floaters, or even complete vision loss in severe cases. This is the result of what we call age-related glycation end products, AGEs, we call them for short, which are created by the binding of sugar to protein. So how I describe glycation is, think of when you put a chicken or a turkey in the oven and the skin you're roasting it and the skin gets delectable. It gets sticky and sweet, really sticky and sweet. That is glycation. That's the binding of sugar to protein. And when you have this going on in your body, that's what's happening to your nerves and to your, like the little glomeruli in the kidneys, right? And then diabetic nephropathy, diabetic kidney disease. The little nerves, diabetic neuropathy. In the eye, the optic nerve, diabetic retinopathy. And this is because the diabetics have such high levels of sugar always in their bloodstream, and their blood is coursing through all of these areas. Of course, that's how you take away waste and you provide nutrients, is you have to have circulation to those areas. And this high level of sugar is causing this glycation, this sticky process to happen. The thing that we use to get around that is benfotiamine, which is a fat, and it's really great because I found a Dr. Berg video this morning talking about this. So I'm going to share my screen quickly and show it to you. I don't think I'll play it because that'll take up 2 minutes and 41 seconds when I could be talking myself. But what are AGE products? AGE, age glycation end products. And this is just short, but it's he does a great little job talking about that and explaining that. But what you want to know, and he mentions benfotiamine right there. I didn't know that he would, and he did. So he calls it benfotiamine, but I disagree with his pronunciation because it's a fat soluble form of thiamine and it's spelled thiamine. So I think it's benfotiamine, but whatever. That's not the important part. And this right here, this article you can click on. I won't do that now, but benfotiamine prevents macro and microvascular endothelial dysfunction and oxidative stress following a meal rich in advanced glycation end products in individuals with type 2 diabetes. What is like a perfect example, and he gives it, Dr. Berg, of a meal that provides lots of AGEs, that would be like barbecued ribs, right? Because you've got a sweet sauce over protein cooked at high temperatures. So eating those kinds of foods all the time, these contribute AGEs into your body. So again, I recommend people take benfotiamine, whether they have any of these risk factors at all for diabetic neuropathy, retinopathy, or nephropathy, or whether, again, wrinkling, the act of the cross-linking that happens in wrinkles is tied to the glycation process. So people, why do I have all of these, wrinkles? So that's one of those things. And also to protect yourself, because all of us occasionally want to eat these foods that do result in the production of age-related glycation end products. So that's really good. But it works, and it works super well. Benfotiamine works also for neuropathy, so the burning nerve pain or numbness or whatever that comes from other sources. Sciatica, for instance, a very good track record with benfotiamine working very well for that, which doesn't seem to be associated with glycation, but it, in any case, so just so you know that, benfotiamine is really awesome. And if you go down here in my newsletter, I said, read my clever article on benfotiamine and glycation here. It's short, but it kind of explains what I just explained to you. Okay, glaucoma is caused by the buildup of fluid in the eye that puts pressure on the optic nerve, retina, and lens. This pressure, which is referred to as intraocular pressure, can permanently damage the eye if it's not treated. And the problem with glaucoma is that it's very silent. Oftentimes you have no symptoms and you don't realize you have the problem, which is a really good reason to get your eyes examined regularly and have your pressure checked. You guys all remember that. It used to be, I don't know if they still do it the same way, but a puff blows in your eye or something like that. I think now they set something right on your eye, but it's kind of an odd to think about. And you don't want to really think about it that much when they're doing it. But open angle glaucoma, angle closure glaucoma, normal tension glaucoma, congenital childhood glaucoma. Symptoms, no warning. You might have no warning. Causes and prevention. accumulation of waste related to aging, high blood pressure, prescription drugs, eye injury, or other eye-related illnesses. Studies show that reducing intraocular pressure significantly delays glaucoma progression by improving optic disc damage and visual field loss. Very interesting because the MSM eye drops. So MSM is organic sulfur. Organic sulfur, methylsulfonylmethane is its big name. And I've talked about it many times. I've done whole programs on this before. And I take a huge, huge heaping spoon, like it's got to measure like a quarter cup of MSM powder. And Kathy, who's on with us today, Dr. Kathy, she takes 4 tablespoons every night. But I'm telling you, it is one of the best things you can do for yourself, and sulfur is deficient in the diet. But sulfur, one of the things it does is it upholds collagen synthesis. So in the eyes, it really helps the eyes so that the eyes can breathe. So we find with glaucoma, the pressure, it really helps control the pressure. My mother-in-law had glaucoma for very many years, and I would take her in her 90s to her eye doctor, her ophthalmology appointments. And the ophthalmologist was always very surprised that her pressure was not getting worse. And she used the regular prescription eye drops that she had from the doctor, but she also used the MSM eye drops, and other people. So the vitreous humor is now able to get out like it's supposed to. You have those, remember they said in the diagram, those angles. And Kathy's like, and I have no wrinkles at 65 and never had Botox. Haha. Yeah, it's really true. You start taking MSM in multiple amounts and your hair just gets like crazy full. Your skin is fantastic because when you're fixing collagen for one thing, it fixes it all over. That's the good thing. Again, you might be taking collagen for your arterial health, right? Because not collagen, you might be taking MSM for your arterial health because it's what keeps the arterial epithelium from getting worn and causing having damage that now has to be filled up with plaque. So you might, like Dr. Linus Pauling had recommended way back when, to making sure that you have plenty of collagen support there, like such as vitamin C, which he was famous for. But then it's also going to do everything else, right? Which means you better keep your nail clipper really handy because your nails are going to grow like crazy, and they do. I have to clip my fingernails like every other day, and I'm not exaggerating, and they really need it right now. It's just pretty cool. Yes, thick hair. Your hair gets thicker. It just does. It's great. Those are problems that a lot of people don't like having. So MSM does these things. And when you apply them directly to the eye, and I will tell you, we sell these eye drops all over the country and out of the country, not as often out of the country, but I've sold them to somebody in Russia, to England. I have eye doctors who will not prescribe anything else for dry eye. But these, I have an eye doctor in Connecticut who actually buys these wholesale, and somebody else another practitioner just ordered wholesale to have in their own place themselves. I had another woman call a week ago yesterday saying that her eye doctor had said that diagnosed her with a certain eye condition and said she wasn't supposed to tell her this, but to go to Wondrous Roots and get the MSM, the eye drops they make. So this is not a secret. And these things work. They work great. And whenever anybody comes into my office or I mail out, Debbie asks my thoughts on maquis berry for eye health. I've never heard of maquis berry, but if I had read that maquis berry was good for eye health, and before I did this program, I would mention it. I do use sea buckthorn berry in another version of my eye drops, Debbie, because of its very high antioxidant level. But also the reason I did that was because I had this guy whose mehibium glands didn't work, or he didn't have them. So he wasn't making the natural oils that are right up here in the eyelids that are also part of what lubricate our eyes. And because of that, he wanted me to fashion an eye drop that would help with that. So I make the MSM eye drops with sea buckthorn berry oil if people want it or not. But berries in general are very rich in antioxidants, and some are higher and richer than others. And that's what I bet would be behind this maqui berry. But you can be sure, I'll be looking that up. So share my screen again. Let's see, go back here. When people order MSM eye drops, I can see if they've never ordered from me before, and I always make sure I send them these 3 pieces of information, and I make these available too in my shop and to my clients. So this is one. What is MSM? This is a really good paper. You can get these right in the newsletter and have your own copy. Aging eyes, cataracts, other therapeutic effects. It helps your eyes to take it internally. It's great to use the eye drops, but it also helps from the inside out. And then 7 best benefits of MSM eye drops: anti-inflammation, antioxidant, immune modulation, sulfur donor and methylation. Oh, don't even get me started. I'm the glutathione girl, and glutathione is the end result of all of that, right? Help with allergies, accelerates the healing process, natural source of energy. And then this one, the eye vision benefits of MSM. Think of your eyeball as a balloon full of water, but instead of being rubber, it is a protein membrane. Optical tissue normally allows fluids to flow through the membrane wall, which acts like a filter, cleaning out harmful particles. That's the whole thing with the cataracts, okay? Because the toxins can't get out. The toxins get in, there's no the permeability isn't the way it's supposed to be. So just think about the MSM eye drops mean that your eyes are breathing. They're breathing. The bad stuff is coming out, the good stuff is coming in, and your tears are coming out like they're supposed to. Your vitreous humor you're not getting built up pressure. It's really wonderful. When eye drops containing the proper amount of MSM are applied, the membrane becomes permeable. And this has reversed the problem. They're talking about cataracts here. It says, optical tissue normally allows fluids to flow through the membrane wall, which acts like a filter, cleaning out harmful particles, keeping your eyes clear and your vision good as it allows nutrients to permeate. But should the membrane become tough like leather, and this is what happens as we get older, the fluids are trapped and particles begin to accumulate. If this buildup continues, your vision will seem as if you're looking through frosted glass, a condition known as cataracts. Had a woman started using my drops, her cataracts were at a stage 3. She went back and had another eye exam. Her cataracts her cataract is now at stage 1. And the ophthalmologist said, I'll bet you're using the eye drops from Wondrous Roots. So this is known. It's really fantastic. And it's great because it's so simple and it's so inexpensive. It's, if you get fancy eye drops for dry eye and stuff, they're ridiculous, those prescriptions. Anyway. So there's that. And then, this particular one is another one that just references MSM softens leathery eye membranes, allowing nutrients to penetrate. It removes waste particle buildup, cataracts, and inside eye pressure, glaucoma, improves vision, muscle tone, red spots. So those are the muscles that we talked about when we first opened up today. So that's good too, right? So you can move your eyes properly. Red spots, damaged blood vessels for contact lens wearers with MSM eye drops, and removes floaters. Yes, and we get tons of feedback regarding that. So that's really important. So you can click on these if you want to see the products, if you want to purchase them, they're there. Other products we have here at Wondrous Roots for the eyes include our Wondrous Sight formula, which is formulation. Remember all those jars? You get all those jars and you make a formula of plants that will help with vision. And so we have turmeric in there, bilberry, acai berry, again, berries, grape seed, green tea leaf, calendula flower, eyebright herb, parsley. These are all highly known, prized plants berries and things for your eye health. And this product, I have a guy who had really bad floaters, so much so that his doctor said, I really don't know what to do. And I don't know, you might eventually go blind. I'm not making this up. And he started this, and his floaters are like hardly noticeable. So these plants are, there are just things you can do, right? Isn't that the great thing? It's like you're not left to, oh, there's nothing you can do. Oh, you're getting older. Well, I guess you're getting older. Vision Optimizer by Jarrow. I carry this too because this is both a combination of plants and nutrients that help with the eyes. And then one of the big things that we do here, this one has alpha lipoic acid, and our alpha lipoic acid and selenium and B2. And one of the big things they're doing there is raising glutathione levels. I got to say it every program. I have to say glutathione at least once. So glutathione is that big antioxidant, right? It cuts out inflammation everywhere. So we have that. And wow, that was good timing. That came up to like 102. And I would say that means if nobody has anything else, I've got another Q&A here. Debbie said, great show, Becky. And I love, love, love your MSM eye drops. Yes, Debbie, I know you use those. And they're the simplest, sweetest things. I got them right here. In fact, watch this, because I haven't used mine today. Close that. They're so easy to use. I keep them on my desk in case I feel like my eyes are. Now, I know a question somebody might have. You can't get too much of these, right? You can't get too much. It's not like, that was the end of the Kleenex box. It's not like it's not like a prescription eye drop where, oh my gosh, you just got like so many milligrams or whatever. So it doesn't matter if it splashes all over your face, who cares? And you've seen recalls, right, on eye drops, and people are going blind because of contaminated eye drops. Well, when I first started making these, I was a little leery because I'm like, my father, who was a compound pharmacist, did not make ophthalmology products for the eyes that you would put in your eyes, because you need to have a sterile hood, and you can have contamination. But MSM itself is highly antibacterial. I've been making these for 17 years. People have been using them. I just touched my eye with the drop, not my eye, but I touched my skin, the corner of my eye with the dropper. I mean, it's not contaminated. I'm not going to now get an infection or a sty or anything like that. And even to the point, I became so confident about that I don't even use a preservative, a saline solution containing preservatives, because the preservatives are not good for your eyes in saline solution. So we use a preservative-free saline solution with the MSM, and the other one with the MSM with the sea buckthorn berry oil. That one, sea buckthorn. When I first found that people were getting better eye exams for macular degeneration with these, I was surprised, because I could understand about the collagen thing and about the eyes breathing and everything when it comes to cataracts or glaucoma or dry eye. Just plain old, my eyes are dry. But I didn't take into account how powerfully antioxidant this is. We talk about antioxidants, right? All the berries and all that stuff. We were talking about the foods you're supposed to eat if you want to get antioxidants. How powerful an antioxidant MSM is. And because of that, it's highly anti-inflammatory. And the macular degeneration is related to high inflammation. And so that is the only thing I can say that makes sense to me. It might be other things about it as well, but it's pretty remarkable. So today the eyes have it. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this information has been helpful to you. This is the kind of stuff that really excites me. And it makes me, again, just rejoice, because we have a lot more control than we think we do. We can make these changes. Nobody has to write a prescription. Nobody has to tell us anything or tell us we can or we can't. We can make our own decisions and we can do these things ourselves. And I would just say, just thank everybody for your nice comments as we close out. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend, and then a wonderful week. And I'll be back next week with some other riveting, I don't know what. I've got several things in my mind that are kind of competing with each other for their time on the stage. So again, if you have things you want me to talk about, shoot me email, and I will be sure to do that. So in the meantime, thanks everybody, and goodbye.